We just have a quick question here from Asanka asking, what is the best time to trade during the day? Is there a specific trading session like Asia Pac, the European session, or the North American session that is better to trade compared to the others? So, first of all, thanks for the question, Asanka. Now, I think when looking at the various trading sessions, there are a few key general things that we need to consider and remember, such as volatility and liquidity. Now, during the Asia Pac session, there's usually far fewer traders compared to the other trading sessions, which means there is much thinner liquidity in the markets. Now, that means there are going to be a lot fewer counter orders and can sometimes lead to very exacerbated moves. Now, a good example of this was just this morning, looking at the Aussie dollar versus the US dollar, where we had the announcement from China that is placing some import bans on certain Australian products. We saw a very quick and fast move lower in the pair or in the Aussie dollar, which might not have been as big and might have been more limited if we saw that type of announcement coming through in something like the European or the New York trading session. So that is just one example of how that thinner liquidity environment can sometimes have an effect. So that is usually the reason why any type of major significant data points from Australia or China or New Zealand usually sees very big moves in the antipodeans and other Asian currencies and Asian markets, as there are a lot thinner liquidity, much thinner, much fewer people trading during those type of hours of the day. Now, looking at something like the European trading session, there is far more players involved, especially since most of Europe is working and trading, and there are more news going around across the board. Now, then you have the overlap period, of course, as well, where North America opens while Europe is still trading. Now, this is usually the most liquid time of the day and usually has a lot of the key or major US economic data points coming out as well. Now, from a purely volatility, liquidity, and availability of news point of view, the best time to trade would then arguably be the European trading session. But it's very important to stress at this time one of the golden rules of trading, and that is that the very best time to trade in any particular trading day is when there is a valid reason for us to trade in the first place. So whether you are trading Asia Pac, the European session, or the North American session, the very best time to trade during any of the sessions are when there is a clear and fresh reason or sentiment shift that we can trade from. So the session plays a role, yes, but the more important consideration is the reason why you are trading anything at that particular time. And that should always be based on your fundamental analysis and making sure that you are pairing strong currencies against weak currencies based on the current sentiment driving the markets at that time.